This video started because I needed a, for my string cord for my blouse that I'm making, I needed it to make a Y to attach to my blouse. So I'm going to show you how I took my string cord and turned it into a Y. So, but not only does it make a Y, okay, which is what we're going to do. And also, I'm also going to show you how we can make a buttonhole out of a buttonhole, like this, out of that same concept. See how it makes a Y and then it comes back together again to make a buttonhole, just like that. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do a quick refresh on the string cord itself. Is that I'm actually using a total of 4 yarns as 2 sets of 2. Okay, so and I'm taking one of the sets of 2 and I'm going over the around and back behind, flipping over. The important part is that I got a crisscross in the front. This is the same string cord that I was making in a video that I'll show a link to, my last video that I'll show a link to. And so then up and over. This one tightens best by pulling on the loop of the back of the new loop and tighten that down. Okay. And then making sure that I crisscross in the front. Making sure that I crisscross in the front, and then I go around and back into the front again. Okay, now that's how I was making the actual string cord, the main one, the main string cord. Okay, now to be able to divide this now and make a Y out of it, I need stitch marker. This is just a basic stitch marker. Whoops, I dropped it. Okay, well, I don't know where that one went. We'll get another one. Sorry about that. Anyways, basic stitch marker. Basic stitch marker. And we're going to take that basic stitch marker and I'm going to put it on the right hand forks. This is important that you put it on the right hand forks once first. That's important. Okay, put it on the right hand fork. Okay, and now I'm going to take those two yarns that were on the right hand fork, I'm going to lift those off the fork, just like that, and put them to the back. But I'm going to keep the strings that go with it over here off to the side. Now I'm going to take one of the strings that was on the left hand fork, and I'm going to move it over to the right hand fork. Now, remember that we kept those strings that belong to the right hand colors over here. That's important because now when we start again, I'm going to take this right hand and I'm going to go over those 2 strings again. Remember this whole crisscrossy thing? I got to crisscross over those. There we go, crisscrossed over those. And we're going to continue the weaving and the braiding. Just like that. Okay. Now when I go to continue for the next movement, I'm going to pick up just my color for my left hand, that's my new right hand, and I'm going to go over the white that I just used and go around. Like that. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this for as many times as I want this side of the fork in my cord to be. Okay. Okay, So this is making one side of the fork in my cord. Okay, so I'm going to continue like that for as long as I want that side to be. So this is this side that I'm working on right now. Okay, so I'm going to continue as long as I want on that. Then when I reach the length that I want for that to be, okay, so now let's pretend that I continue that and I got it this long, and that's how long I wanted it to be. Okay, now I'm going to stop on that and say, okay, that's as far as I want that to go. Now I'm going to take the loop that I was working on the right hand side of the fork, and I'm going to move it back to the left hand side of the fork over there. And remember how we had those loops that we had way back a little while ago that we had put the stitch marker on? Okay, we're going to take those back, and they might have shrunk while we were working. Go ahead and make them big again. And we're going to put those back onto the right hand side of the fork. Just like that. See how I did that? I'm going to take that stitch marker off of them. I'm going to move that stitch marker over here to the left hand side of the fork and pick those up over there. And then we're going to take those ones off. Ta-da! I'm going to go ahead and just move that string out of our way, their working string out of the way. And now we're going to take one of the strands that was on the right hand side of the fork, and we're going to move it over to the left hand side of the fork, just like this. Now you notice that I have kept my finished work to the back of my lucette this entire time. Okay, now this is important. Again, when I go to work again, because this work started on the right-hand side of the fork, this piece of the work started on the right-hand side of the fork, when I go to start this piece up again, I'm going to continue with the right-hand side of the fork. The reason this is important is because it has to do with that crisscross. Remember, we want to keep trying to crisscross. And so I'm going to crisscross, and I'm going to right-hand side of the fork of this again. Put that purple over there. Crisscross. There we go. Crisscross. We want to keep our crisscrosses going. We always want to crisscross in the front. All right, now we're going to pull that stitch down. Pull that stitch down. Tighten it into size. Okay, there we go. Now, again, when I go to pick up my work again, I want to make sure that we are crisscrossing in the front. You always have to crisscross in the front. See how I took that purple one and I crossed back over top of the teal one. Crisscross. Always make sure that we're crisscrossing in the front, because that is what is helping to form our cord. Without that crisscross, we're missing a section of the cord. Okay. And then I'm going to continue doing the back and forth on that until I get the length of cord that I want on this side. Again, always making sure that I crisscross in the front. Okay, now once I've got the length of cord on this side that I want, the Y, and I can stop here at this point and just have the Y, finish it off, just as a Y. Or I can continue now and create the buttonhole. Now, let me show you how I continue and create the buttonhole. It's actually easier than it looks. All I have to do to be able to create the buttonhole is I move the right hand, I move what was on the left back over to the right, because that's where these colors started. And now, paying attention, I will take, remember the other colors that I had here. Okay, I'm now going to take the strings from the from this. I'm going to set it here. I'm going to keep all the work to the back of the fork, and I'm going to put those, bring the strings forward and keep the work to the back. I'm going to bring those loops, put them back on the left hand fork. Okay, making sure that all the work stays back behind, all the finished work stays behind the lucette. My loops, my strings. Now I want these strings that were on the left hand side to come under, the strings on the right hand side to come over, this is important, in the front, just like that. Now I can take my stitch marker off, adjust the size there on my loops. There we go. Okay, Harley's trying to help me. There we go. Okay, and now, whoops, I lost one of my loops. Put that back up there. There we go. Okay, now I'm ready to go again. Bringing my left hand over top of the right hand colors, just like that. Whoops, there we go. Stay in the camera, Jarita. Bringing my left hand over top of my right hand colors, just like that. And then lifting my loops up and over again, just like I have been. Same as before. And adjusting, same as before. And then again, making sure that I crisscross in the front, just like that. And then again, adjusting it back down again, just like that. Doing it again. Adjust it down. Always making sure that I crisscross. Always making sure that I crisscross. Very important that I make sure that I crisscross. Just like that. And now you'll notice that I have closed the buttonhole, and I have a buttonhole on the other side. Ta-da!